And now Rob Walker, let's have the men, please.
They are being introduced actually in order, ascending order of their personal bests.
Mike Arnold coming out first of all. You could be forgiven for thinking this is a disco rather than a World Championship final. Augusto Dustra de Oliveira, 4 times a South American record holder. Michal Balner of the Czech Republic, joint 6th in the World Indoors back in Doha in 2010. Seito Yamamoto, 2nd in the Asian Indoor Championships earlier this year, personal best in January. Jan Kudlička of the Czech Republic, 5th in European Indoors a couple of years ago, a bronze medalist in Sopot 2 years ago. Carlo Pesch comes next from Germany, former World Youth silver medalist. Then one of 2 Frenchmen, Jérôme Clavier, former European Indoor silver medalist. His more decorated compatriot coming soon. Robert Sobera of Poland, 6th in Sopot 2 years ago, a World Student Games bronze medalist last year. Piotr Lisek, in Polish, his surname means the fox. He got the bronze in Beijing last year. Tiago Braz da Silva, former World Junior Champion, a massive talent from Brazil. So too is Konstantinos Philippidis. He's the defending champion. And listen to the roar for the in-form American about to emerge. The US Army officer, Sam Kendricks. And then what a battle we could have between our last 2. The reigning world champion, the youngster from Canada, Sean Barber, a massive, massive talent. But so too is the man who has a point to prove after failing to beat the Canadian last year. The Olympic champion, the world record holder, one of the finest the sport has ever seen, Renaud Lavillenie. Let battle commence in Portland.
We look at the men's start list, Rob.
Yes, Renaud Lavillenie, the world record holder, that coming a couple of years ago. 6:03 this season. He's got 4 of the top 6 vaults in the world this year. So, Augusto Dutra de Oliveira, formerly the 4-time South American record holder. We've seen Arnold go clear at the first time of asking at 5:40. Can the Brazilian follow suit? Oh, he had the height, but the technique was just a little off. 2 more attempts for him. Michal Balner just asking for a confirmation. He's just waiting for the officials to make sure they're ready. Trying something a little bit different here. As Catherine said, we've been rocking and rolling, and we will be doing for the next 15-20 minutes, probably towards an hour, until a few get dropped. There's the full official lineup. This is genuinely world class. 5 of the best 6 in the world this year are here. So, Michal Balner, who was 6th back in Doha in the Aspire Dome in 2010. He is the official Czech Republic record holder. 2nd in the national championships. So, 5:40. Can he get his opening height with his first attempt? Yes, he can. Crowd respond with enthusiasm.
Yamamoto of Japan in his opening vault.
Yes, he's in good form, Yamamoto. He's been around a little while. He was 6th in Moscow 3 years ago. 5:77, a PB in January, so in theory 5:40 should be relatively straightforward. Here he goes, big powerful shoulders, looking for a solid, positive, aggressive plant. Well, a little bit wild, a little bit ragged. He'll have to come back. 2 more attempts, of course. Now, Jan Kudlička. He's not the official Czech Republic record holder, but he has gone 5:83 in an unofficial exhibition. He's class, he's the bronze medalist from Sopot, and he'll be hoping to make very light work of 5:40 at the first attempt. Miles clear. Best clearance we've seen so far. He's arrived in form.
And Rob, Lavillenie is going to come in at
the merest height of 5:75. He's passed at 5:40, 5:55 and 5:65. Even Barber, the reigning world champion, is going to dip his toe at 5:55. Confidence, je pense?
Well, and every right to be, because he's got a wonderful record. I mean, 5:75 is as high as anyone ever comes in. Bubka usually used to come in, the greatest pole vaulter of all time, at 5:70. And Lavillenie now happy with the progression of heights to wait until 575. It's a little bit of a risk, but he wants to reserve his best, of course, for the top heights.
Carlo Pace hoping to become the 4th man clear at 540. We've had 2 failures so far. He's the German indoor champion. Veered off to the left-hand side, and we'll need to come back for a further 2 attempts, possibly.
French number 2?
Yes, Jérôme Clavier, 3 years older than his more decorated compatriot. Good operator. Was in the top 8 in the Olympic Games in Beijing. So here goes the French number 2. Oh yes, excellent clearance from the 32-year-old. He means business as well. Not just one Frenchman in this competition, there's 2. And he's gone clear at 540 at the first time of asking. And France have such a great history and tradition when it comes to the pole vault. Robert Sabera, World Student Games bronze medalist last year. Pretty handy performer indoors. He was 6th in Sopot a couple of years ago. 3rd in Glasgow. So can he join an illustrious list of men over at the opening height for the first time? Yeah, great clearance. That was excellent from the 25-year-old Polishman. The defending champion, Philippidis, coming in, dipping his toe at 540. Only the legendary Bubka has defended the title. He looked as though he had the height, but it was a little bit wild. We've had late passes from Lisek and Thiago Braz de Silva. Yes, cameras flicking back to Sam Kendricks. An amazing performance to win here last week with 590, and that's why he's in such confident mood. That was very easy and very impressive. Look at the height over the bar. He's carrying that form from a week ago here to the World Indoor Championships. Huge clearance.
Well, as we said before, these are very special fields here. Some of the greatest fields we've ever seen in a pole vault competition.
Yeah, so 2nd time of asking. So de Oliveira hopes, more than capable at 540. Doesn't want to end up in last chance saloon, and he won't do. That's better from the Brazilian, 25 years of age. He's a classy operator. Just shaking off the cobwebs. Won in Stockholm on the IAAF Tour, so he has got some form this winter. That was better. Oh, the music is still blaring. The party is yet to get in full swing, and Yamamoto wants a ticket. 540, 1 failure. Can he follow the Brazilian with an impressive 2nd time clearance? Yes, he can. This could be a very, very intriguing pole vault competition. That was yet another monstrously high clearance.
Yes, even though he did just go over to the left-hand side a little bit, so not quite perfect, but he had enough, as you say, more than enough to spare there.
So as a Japanese athlete clears and lands, the women's pole vault bar will be going up to the new height of 4 meters and 60 centimeters.
Just confirmation there for Yamamoto. So Carlo Pace, former World Youth silver medalist, just hoping to join the man from Japan up to 555. German indoor champion, that was much better. Legs together as he went over, flexing those hamstrings. Early failure could be costly if he's in the mix towards the end of the competition. Long way to go though. So the defending champion does not want to be the only man having to come back for a 3rd attempt at 540. He's gone 584 this season. This should be a breeze for Philippidis, and it is. All 14 contenders are over 540, so the bar in the men's competition will shortly rise to 555, but we still won't see Renaud Lavillenie. He's saving his muscles for 575. Everybody's still in it to win it at this stage.
And of course, we've yet to see Sean Barber as well, and I think you said he was coming in at 565. There we have Renaud Lavillenie. So as Rob was telling you earlier, he's not coming until 575. So that's we're at 555 now. So he's got a little while to wait. He had a warm-up earlier, of course, but he's now just got to sit and compose himself, and it'll be some little while before we see him in action. Wonderful, of course, to see the showcasing that the pole vault is getting, because so often it gets neglected and it takes a while, but as I'm sure all viewers are experiencing, it gradually builds in intensity, of course, and there'll be plenty of support for this man.
They certainly will. 7th in the NCAAs a couple of years ago. First time clearance at 5:40, first man to attempt 5:55, but he'll have to come back for another go. Michael Ballner pumping himself up, getting himself ready. Could he be the first man in the competition over 5:55? Yes, he can. Little bit of a wobble, but it stays on. And his competition continues with a 100% record. First time clearance at 5:40 and now at 5:55. Good work from the 33-year-old from the Czech Republic.
Yes, at 33, he's the oldest in the field, but he's not letting that worry him.
Not quite as old as Kim Collins, who we'll get to see in the 60 metres at the tender age of 39 3/4. Whatever he's on, I want some.
Now we look again at Yamamoto. A bit of problem, Rob, at his opening height.
Yes, and then went soaring over at his second attempt at 5:40. So we've had one clearance at 5:55. That was Ballner. Yamamoto hoping to follow suit. Second in the Asian Championships last year and the indoors this year. Little bit ragged, drifted off to his left, but it's a good clearance.
Well, as he did at 5:40, but I thought this was even better, though. He's showing that he's come right back to form now after a modest year last year. He had a fair bit there.
Yeah, so Kudlička had obviously decided to pass, but hadn't told the officials, so it's Pesch now for 5:55, and the German is over at the first time of asking.
Page here, Rob, the German #1, because Holtstepper is injured at the moment, and he's really the one top vaulter in the world who's not here. All the other top men are here. Holtstepper, the former world champion outdoors.
And a man who so often peaks at the right time for the right occasion. He's the only one of the best 6 vaulters in the world this year not here, as you said, Peter. This is a genuinely top-class competition. Jérôme Clavier, French #2, just missed out on a medal in the indoors in 2008. As Peter was saying, just coming back to a little bit of form. He's got a clear card so far. Will he keep that going? No, that was ragged. Only the third man to miss at the first attempt at 5:55. Piotr Lisek, who passed at 5:40. Really good year in 2015. Is he going to keep that going here? Well, that's a great start, isn't it? Really aggressive vaulter. Third in the European indoors last year, and that magnificent bronze in Beijing towards the end of the summer. Didn't have a huge amount left there, but his decision to postpone his start at 5:55 has paid off. So Thiago Braz da Silva, former world junior champion, Youth Olympic Games silver medalist in 2010, a man who beat Renaud Lavillenie in Berlin this year. 5:93, the South American record holder. Well, could he do something very, very special on home turf in 5 or 6 months' time? He's certainly got all the talent in the world. 2 more attempts for him, though, at the opening height. Great start to his indoor season. Just needs to keep it going here. His compatriot de Oliveira will have to come back for a second crack at 5:55 as well. So the Brazilians just struggling a little bit in this cauldron atmosphere.
As you said, he had a super start to the season with that record, but he's a bit inconsistent. I mean, no height in Madrid, 5th in Glasgow. But this man, as we've been telling you, just watching with some interest, I'm sure, but it'll be some while before we see him in action. The great, and he is, Renaud Lavillenie.
And there's the man who beat him to the world title last year. Barber had an absolutely incredible year in 2015. And he's gone over 6 meters this season, beating Lavillenie, once again denying the Frenchman the only global title he hasn't won. He's the Olympic champion, he's the world record holder, He's had silvers, he's had bronze. He just, for some reason, can't conquer the World Outdoor Championship. Konstantinos Philippidis, the defending champion. So, needed 2 to get over 540. I wonder if that might be costly in the hunt for the medals if we go to countback later on in the competition. Surely can't afford another first-time failure at these early heights. That's better from the Greek defending champion. A first-time clearance at 5:55. National indoor champion on numerous occasions. Sam Kendricks, twice NCAA champion, twice US indoor champion. The US Army officer, a massive 590 last week. So no surprise, he makes 5:55 look pretty steady. Wow. Well, this crowd would go absolutely wild if Kendricks were to take some huge scalps here. There's a long way to go, but it's a perfect double start for the American.
As we now see the entry into competition of one of the really big names.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing what Sean Barber can produce here. What a talent. He's utterly fearless, 21 years of age. He's gone 6 meters this year with 3 other vaults over 587. Massive speed down the runway. Yes, very cool and very composed. It took a really, really special personality to deny Renaud Lavillenie that world title last year, and it looks as though Barber's got his game face on here at the start of 2016. What a performer this Canadian is.
Yeah, again, a massive talent. He's the youngest in the field. We saw Balna the oldest. He's the youngest, but a major contender, obviously, and showing super technique there. As we now look at Mike Arnold, and this is his first senior international championship.
Yes, big stage for the 25-year-old. Oh, it had a wobble. The crowd were hoping it would stay on. He'll come back for one more chance at 5:55. It did think about staying on, just for a split second.
Yes, if it has a thought.
His right arm took it off.
He's not from far away here, in that he went to Idaho State University, the next door state to Oregon.
Now, Jerome Clavier. He's gone over 5:77 this season. That was in Potsdam just last month. He knows when he gets the timing right, he can get over 5:55. Yes, that's better. The Frenchman clenches his fists as he crashes towards the mat here in Portland. He's still in the competition. Tiago Braz da Silva is one of 2 Brazilians yet to make it up to 5:65. Da Silva, his second attempt here. The music is still pumping. Really good crowd here in Portland, and they're giving all the athletes from all parts of the world a great reception here. It's a cracking rapid-fire pole vault competition. So can Da Silva get in the party mood here? Oh, that's massive. Yes, the South American record holder. Right. We will hear some noise from the Portland crowd if Mike Arnold manages to stay in the competition. The graduate from Idaho State University. It's now or never, 5:55. Yes! That is a great piece of composure for a man who is not as experienced at this international top level as some of the others still left in the competition. Needed 3, but he got it done, and how the crowd responded. Right, are we about to lose our first male from this World Indoor Final? De Oliveira has to clear this to stay in the competition. More than capable at his best. No, he hasn't been at home all competition, and at last, at 5:55, we have lost our first contender. So there were 14, now we are down to the baker's dozen in the men's competition. Lavillenie still yet to have a bead of sweat on his forehead, in total contrast to Mike Arnold. who is coming out for his 5th vault. First time clearance at 5:40, and as we just saw a couple of moments ago, he needed all 3 for 5:55. But all credit to the psychology graduate for holding his nerve at the key occasion. 5:65, he's the first man to attempt the new height. No, way short there. Vigorously chewing the gum. He'll have a chat with the coaches. Now, the oldest male in the competition, Michal Balner. Clean card so far, as you can see. He's been quietly going about his business, but now he wants this vociferous, enthusiastic American crowd to get involved and help him scorch down this runway. Ready for 5:65. Is it 3 first-time clearances in a row? Not this time. So the official Czech Republic record holder will come back for 2 more attempts. Still nobody clear at 5:65. Yamamoto will be the next to have a crack at the new height. Here he goes then. Is he going to be the first man over at 5:65? Not this time. Massive clearance at 5:55, and that was a touch ragged. Little too shallow as he came in towards the bar. Plenty of pace.
Again, Japan have got a good tradition in pole vaulting. They used to have a lot of good people way back in, say, the 1930s and so on. And of course, they've got a great gymnastics tradition, and that follows through often into pole vaulting.
And still, the man who would be king just watching as if he was overseeing a training session of under-15s. So, Kudlička, once again, just quietly going about his business. This would be a very handy first-time clearance. He hasn't missed one yet. Oh, initially looked as though he had the height. And still, we are yet to have our first male over 5:65 at the first time of asking. De Silva of Brazil has passed at this height, and so too, as we already know, has Lavillenie, who's just been strolling around here as if he's a coach rather than an athlete. Kudlička will have to come back. Jerome Clavier needed a second attempt at 5:55. We're 10 centimetres higher. Could he be the first man clear? 5:77 this season, 5:81 indoors. He knows at his best he's got this. He lets out a little roar of disappointment there. And this top quality competition is taking a turn for the fascinating. Robert Sabera, one of 4 men in the competition yet to produce a failure. Asked at 5:55. So the World Student Games bronze medalist last year, who was 3rd in Glasgow earlier this year. Yes! He's brought his confidence here to Portland, and he maintains his 100% record. I wonder how crucial that could be come the business end of the competition. He is the first man clear at 5:65. 2 attempts, 2 clearances, and the delight is obvious.
Well, a real attack there, wasn't there? And then a very fine push-off when you do the handstand on top of the pole and the rest of it. And he really did push himself up and over that.
A good competition for the American women, and a good competition it's turning out to be for the Polish men. Sabera has just gone clear for Poland. Can Lisek join him? He too has only had one, and he's gone clear. But now he has one crossed by his name. The bronze medalist from Beijing will have to come back for 1 or 2 more attempts. So still his compatriot Sabera, the 25-year-old, is the only man clear at 5:65. So Philippides Just needed that second attempt at 5:40. Remember, only one man clear at 5:65, so this would put him back in the mix, the defending champion. Looked as though he had the height there initially. And it's proving a tricky height, this, for some of the very, very best in the world. Just a reminder, still no Lavillenie. He will come in at our next height of 5:75, the Frenchman. Kendricks and Barber left to have their first cracks at 5:65. That was so gutsy, the crowd responded. And they will do so again here if Sam Kendricks goes 3 out of 3. This would really put him in the driving seat here. Oh, yes! First time clearances at 5:40, 5:55 and 5:65.
And plenty more to come, no question about that.
Oh, he did 5:90 here in this very arena a week ago.
And you can see why. Just look at this.
Wow. Well, it will need to be impressive from Lavillenie when he does make his first appearance at 5:75, because Kendricks is clearly in the groove and in the mood.
And the man who's coming up next too.
So Sean Barber, he knows that Sobera has gone clear without a failure, and so too Sam Kendricks. Can he join them? This man is coming in at 5:75. And he knows that he's going to have to be on top form if he's to beat Barber, the reigning world champion, the Canadian, 21 years of age, full of confidence, full of talent. Oh, little wobble that time. The 100% record goes, but certainly it seems as though he had the height to make that, but he'll need to come back. So only 2 men are clear at this height with a 100% record, and we're still waiting for the Olympic champion to make his first vault. It's starting to get interesting here. Mike Arnold, I wonder whether he will be taking some inspiration and motivation from the 3 in a row from Sam Kendricks and the great performances from the likes of Sandy Morris and Jen Suhr. It's certainly turning out to be a great first night for the Americans. Can Arnold keep the celebrations going here? Well, he needed 3 at 5:55, and he's going to need 3 at 5:65. So Michal Ballner, he's asking for that familiar hand clap. There are hundreds of volunteers and youngsters crowding round this side of the stadium. It's a brilliant atmosphere for the opening evening here in Portland. Second attempt, 5:65, no. Knocks it off from underneath. And he too will need to come back. So Arnold and Ballner will both need 3 here. Only Sobera and Kendricks have cleared 5:65. We're now on to 8:30 local time, and he still hasn't had a vault. Now, Jérôme Clavier, aiming to become the 3rd man over 5:65. Frenchman, 5:77 earlier this season. And no. Wow. 6 men in a row with a second failure. And we could see this competition getting whittled down in the not too distant future. 3/4 of the field could have gone before Lavillenie takes his first vault. Piotr Lisek. Tattoo on his back reads, "The die is cast." He's a brilliant performer at his best, knows what it takes to get the major medals, and there's the composure that put him on the podium less than 12 months ago in Beijing. He moves back into contention. He's the 3rd man clear at 5:65. At last, we have another joining Sobera and Kendricks at 5.75 meters. He's in 3rd place, but remember, Lavillenie has yet to enter the competition. That was better from the Polishman. Philippidis with 2 failures now. is lying in 6th position, so he's got some work to do to defend his title, even if he gets over here, but it would certainly help. Second attempt at 5.65 for the Greek. Yes, that's better. National indoor champion, not too far away from the medals in London 3 3/4 years ago, and that's better from Philippidis. 4 men now over 5.65. He's in 4th place, the Greek. Now, Sean Barber. This is only his 3rd vault of the competition. They've been out there for an hour and a half. Trying to psych himself up. Big arms, big talent. Got those distinctive green socks. No, and the timing's not there at the moment for the world champion. So one last attempt for the Canadian. And there would be disappointments if he didn't get up to 5.75. Certainly looking forward to seeing he and Lavillenie going toe-to-toe for this world indoor title. But the Canadian will have to come back for one final attempt to stay in the competition. Good indoor season, 6 meters, helped with a little bit of altitude in Reno back in January. But he's had a pretty good winter's campaign. But some anxious moments for the reigning world champion. 7 men with one last chance to stay in the competition. The first of those to vault, the homegrown Mike Arnold. And if you've been watching throughout the course of the evening here, you'll know, and you get the confirmation there, that he made it over 5.55 at the 3rd time of asking. He's got to do so again here. Yes! He's done it again! Oh, the crowd are absolutely elated. Arnold joins Sam Kendricks in the 5.75 club, and that moves him up to 5th place, but there'll be a lot of rocking and rolling with the positions between now and the end of the competition. Just like Bushler in the women's competition, 3rd time lucky, not once but twice. Great composure from the American. So Arnold managed this one at the 3rd time of asking, and the 33-year-old from the Czech Republic will be hoping he can do the same. The crowd really enjoying the competition here. Absolute top quality from the women. And as far as the men's battle for the world title is concerned, a few too many are struggling at 5.65. Can Balner join Arnold with a 3rd time clearance? Not this time. And our 2nd man exits the competition. We lost de Oliveira at 5.55, and we've lost Balner at 5.65. So Yamamoto is attempting 12 centimeters lower than his lifetime indoor best set earlier this year in January. 24-year-old with plenty of experience, and he needs it now. Oh, it's a little bit ragged. He's been drifting over towards the left-hand side of the upright, and that brings his competition to an end. So we have now lost 3 men from this competition. 11 remain, and 5 have gone clear at 5.65, with Lavillenie yet to take his first vault. Stefanidi going well in the women's competition. Kudlichka hoping to capitalise on the growing atmosphere here in Portland. Last chance at 5.65. Yes! Wow, the bronze medalist from Sopot showing all his experience there. And just when he needed it most, he has delivered. So we now have 6 men clear at 5.65. Well, this is better because it looked at one stage as though we were going to lose quite a few world-class vaulters at heights they should be capable of. But as the atmosphere builds, so too do these competitive instincts. And the man from the Czech Republic is still in the mix. Carlo Pace just trying to psych himself up. Just over 45 seconds remaining here. He's asking the crowd to respond, and they're duly obliging. It's coming alive, this men's competition. The German indoor champion wants his evening to last a little bit longer. This is taking a while. He's still okay for time, but he needs to get moving here, the German. Off he goes. Last chance. No, the pace just wasn't there. He's got 15 seconds. I suspect that will be it. He's jogging back. And surely he's going to have run out of time. Yes, the clock has run out. And he is timed out. So a sad way for his competition to come to an end. As we focus our attention on the men's runway, Clavier, his last chance to stay in the mix and join his compatriot Renaud Lavillenie at 5.75. He wasn't too far away, but that brings Clavier's role in this competition to an end.
He'll finish 11th.
And in a moment, we'll be turning our attention to Sean Barber, the world champion, who also has only one final attempt left at 5.65. And that would be the biggest piece of drama so far in the men's competition, were the Canadian to go out. Right, big test of character now for Sean Barber. Everything's been great for this 21-year-old in the last 12 months. Pan American champion last year, world champion last year. This would be hugely disappointing for him if he were to go out at 5.65. Remember, he's done 6 meters earlier this season. His aspirations for the title hang by a thread. Yes, that's more like it. A shake of the head. He's a little bit annoyed that he's put himself in that position, but that was a test of character, and he passed.
Yes, he did indeed. The bar's still wobbling a little bit. He did strike it. You can see it wobbling there. But as you say, a test of character. You want to put that behind him, put that height behind him, go on and upwards, and perhaps have some first-time clearances at the next heights. So that's what, 6 men over this height, plus Lavillenie, who will be seen very shortly.
Mike Arnold is getting towards PB territory here. He's had a fine indoor season. His best is 5.77, this just 2 centimeters shy. No, plenty of pace on the in-run. He just needs to go away and work on that one. He's done it the hard way. Last time clearances at 55 and 65 for the American.
Jan Kulichka, at a height that he's done before.
Yes, he should be capable here. Remember, he got the bronze in Sopot. Showed real character to get over at 5.65. Plenty of pace, but he'll need to come back. Well, what an evening it's turning out to be for the Americans. And Sam Kendricks, who has passed at this height, is in pole position. Although we do have to say that with the massive rider that Renaud Lavillenie, the Olympic champion and the world record holder, is about to enter the competition. It's a fascinating group of men still in contention. The reigning world champion, Sean Barber, is still there. The defending world indoor champion, Philippidis the Greek, is still there. The world record holder and Olympic champion yet to enter the competition. And we have Sabera of Poland, and there he is, who has yet to miss. So he, at the moment, is in joint first place with Sam Kendricks of the United States, who, as I said a moment or two ago, has passed at this height of 5.75.
You mentioned Sopot, and in fact, at those championships 2 years ago, 3 men cleared 5.80, determined on countback, and Kulichka, who we've just seen, got that bronze, 5.80. So did the first 2 men as well, Philippidis and Moore.
So this would put Sabera in the lead on his own if he was to become the first man to clear 5.75. 2 out of 2 so far for the Polishman. And now it starts to get just a little bit intriguing. And they're waiting to see the current world record holder, who will have been watching and waiting for nearly 2 hours for his turn in the spotlight. Meanwhile, Lisek attempting to become the first man clear at 5.75, and he's done it. Wow. The bronze medalist from the World Championship last year has just put himself right in the mix. He's in pole position. He was in 3rd place. He's now in the lead. Of course, Lavillenie and the likes of Barber will be hoping to join him with a first-time clearance at 5.75. But what a competition we've got developing here on the left-hand side of the arena. That's better from the 23-year-old. So, De Silva passed at 5.65, perhaps realising that first-time failure at 5.55 would cause him problems. This would get him right back in the mix, lying in 11th place at the moment because of that failure at his opening height with his opening effort. South American record holder, 5.93 already this year. Knows he's capable of this height at his best. No, he was a little wild there. Unfortunately, he stands up uninjured, but he was landing just above the box. Always a relief when you're watching these guys to make sure they come down safely, even if it does look a little bit ragged. Philippidis does not want to relinquish this title without a fight. Massive speed on the in-run and just flicks that bar off. He'll be aware that Stefanidis has finished on the podium. All evening they've been rocking and rolling between the men's and women's pole vaults, but now the men have the arena to themselves. As we're watching these replays, Jen Sear is being interviewed by the stadium host, and that's why you can hear the cheers going up. Philippidis will have to come back. And well, Sear just explaining that her calf was feeling a little bit tight, which is why she didn't go for that world record attempt. As we look at Renaud Lavillenie, still poised and still waiting. This competition began local time at 7:05, and it's now coming up to 9:05. So Lavillenie has been watching his rivals in the battle for this gold for 2 hours, waiting for his turn to join in the competition.
Sean Barber.
Yes, 6 meters in Reno. And really impressive character shown with that third attempt at 5.65. It's all been positive in this short senior career of Barber. And this would give Lavillenie something to think about. The reigning world champion. Oh, it thought about staying on. Well, we've been waiting for literally 2 hours to see Lavillenie. And the Frenchman, the enigmatic, charismatic, hugely talented Olympic champion and world record holder, is the next man on the runway. Barber in 5th place. Those two failures at 5.65 could prove costly when we get towards the business end of proceedings. Well, it's Sergei Bubka-esque, isn't it? That's the kind of reputation he's earned himself over some incredible years in the sport, with some incredible feats, not least of which that world record of 6.16. The Olympic champion, the world record holder, takes his first vault in this World Indoor Championships. Lavillenie on the runway. Oh, he's miles clear. That is outrageous from Lavillenie. There is so much more in the tank, and that is why he waited 2 hours for his first vault. Follow that, the rest of them, if they can.
But isn't it especially special? I mean, he warmed up 2.5 hours ago, and he's had to wait without able to continue the warm-up. Just watching, waiting, patient. and then he can produce a vault like that. Well clear, superb.
And for me, why that's special is how many times have we seen Renaud Lavillenie do that, and sometimes it doesn't go to plan. That vault was huge, not only in terms of distance cleared on the bar, but psychologically now he's set himself up. 5 meters and 75. When he won the gold in 2012, he only needed a second attempt at 580 to clinch it. He's going to need more than that here potentially tonight, but boom. Well, the Frenchman's arrived in style.
So, what a night it's been for the home crowd. Sam Kendricks still in the mix. Can they roar Mike Arnold to a second attempt clearance here? No, no, no. He'll have to go third time lucky for the third time if he is to stay in the competition and keep 2 American aspirations alive. But the crowd are still reeling and reflecting on that incredible, massive first-time clearance from Lavillenie.
And of course that clearance takes him into the lead, and indeed someone will have to go higher if they're going to deny him the victory, because at the moment we've only got Lisek also clear, and he has had also 1 failure. So Lavillenie and Lisek are the 2 men in medal positions at the moment as first and second, and we wait to see whether the rest of them can clear at the second attempt, with the impressive Sam Kendricks passing at this height as well.
Yes, fascinating night unfolding here. 2 hours of competition, and we're starting to get towards the business end here. Kudlichka, second attempt, 575. No, he'll need to come back. Picked up the bronze in Sopot 2 years ago. He's in 6th place at the moment, tied with Sean Barber. Barber down out of the medals at the moment because he had those 2 failures at 565. So Lavillenie is in the lead with that 1 spectacular clearance at 575. He was 595, incidentally, when he took the gold medal 4 years ago in 2012, just ahead of his outdoor Olympic title. Sabera's having a fabulous night so far. Lavillenie's got his tracksuit back on. So I shall keep my eye out to see. Surely he's not going to pass at 580, is he?
Why not?
I would.
Why not?
The margin he was over. He's in the pole position.
Yeah.
He's doing the least amount possible to win another world indoor title. Remember, because of what happened in 2014 in Sopot, he'd set the world absolute record of 6:16. He couldn't compete at the World Indoor Championships because of the heel injury he picked up, vaulting 6:16. So the frustration maybe is still there. And the clearance was huge, guys. It was a good 6 meter plus clearance there, wasn't it?
It was absolutely massive. Cameras focusing in on the reigning world champion Barber, but as Peter was saying, he's got some work to do because of those 2 failures. We should point out that Kendricks, the American, has yet to miss a vault, but of course his last clearance was at 565. And there's Philippidis, the defending champion. He's managed to stay in contention with second-time clearances at 540 and 565. It's getting interesting now. Sabera. He's in a podium position at the moment. Picked up a bronze at the World Student Games last year. Fine first-time clearance at 565. Second attempt then, 10 centimetres higher. Oh, it looked as though he had the height. That was a better attempt from the 25-year-old. Just 15th at the World Outdoor Championships in Beijing, and he's having a much better competition here. That was close.
Yeah, not close enough. 575, 18 foot 10 1/4.
Let me tell you, as a former athlete, what Renaud Lavillenie has done now is put the pressure on everybody else, because he's been a bit inconsistent, especially as we know at World Outdoor Championships with coming in late and it going wrong. He's done a huge clearance, and everybody knows that actually the Renaud Lavillenie that we know and love in terms of 6 meters 16 is in the house tonight. He's put the pressure now on everybody else in this men's pole vault final.
So, Da Silva gets himself ready. He passed at 5.65, just the one clearance for him, which is why he's currently in 12th place. His only clearance at 5.55. So he's on his second chance here, hoping to join Lisek and Lavillenie, clearing 5.75. He's definitely got the talent. He's gone 5.93. He's the third best vaulter in the world this year. Needs to turn it on here at just the most important time. Oh, and it was way over, but he just caught that on the way down. It certainly looked as though the 22-year-old Brazilian, the former world junior champion, had the height. One more attempt for him. Bit of MC Hammer now in the stadium.
Sorry, that's
Catherine Merry's
giggled.
fingers were clicking. MC Hammer.
You can't touch this. Well, there's only one man at the moment that nobody can touch. But we will see. I've got a feeling there's a little bit more drama to come in this men's pole vault final.
Well, it'd be nice if there was. There's certainly some talent here.
Alluded to the super lineup that it contained, and Peter was saying only the really hot stepper of Germany not here.
Barber still in the frame here, but he knows, well, he knows two things. One, Lavillenie is riding high with huge confidence, and as Peter was explaining, Barber now knows he has to go higher than Lavillenie to take the title. Philippidis hoping to keep his dreams of a second world indoor title alive. Only Bubka's gone back-to-back. And this is a tall order now for the talented Greek. He's getting closer. But once again, as with Da Silva and Kudlichka and Sabera, it'll have to be third time lucky at 5.75 for Philippidis. Kendricks, remember, has not registered a failure yet, but he has passed at 5.75, obviously knowing that he has to go higher than Lavillenie to take that gold medal. So Philippidis will come back for one last attempt. Meanwhile, out of shot, Barber is running down, just trying to get some bounce and some momentum and some belief in his legs. Two big titles last year, the Pan American Games on home turf in Toronto and that incredible gold medal in Beijing. But now we're seeing this young Canadian being tested mentally.
Yeah, and he's had 3 failures in the competition so far. He's almost certain, if he's going to get a medal, not only clear this height, which is necessary to stay in the competition, but probably if he's going to get a medal, he'll have to go yet higher. First job, though, to get over this height and stay there.
4 vaults this winter of 5.87 or higher, so he knows this is within his reach, but this is pressure. And the world champion is in trouble once again here in Portland. And maybe, as Catherine Merry was saying, the ease and the magnificence of that first-time clearance from 5.75 from Lavillenie has sown a seed of doubt in the mind of Sean Barber.
And he's gone across to his coach, and perhaps one of the things they may consider is to give himself more time. As I say, I think he's going to have to jump higher if he's going to get a medal. Will he maybe pass his last attempt at 5.75? That's something he might consider. Then have just one attempt at the next height.
So just to confirm then, Lavillenie is in the lead at the moment. 1 vault, 1 mightily impressive clearance. Lisek at the moment is the only other man who will be coming back at 5.80. The Polishman's in second place. Sabera is in third, courtesy of his first-time clearance at 5.65. But it's all smiles and relaxation for Renaud Lavillenie. Minimum work, maximum talent. And he has put himself in pole position for a second world indoor title. So Mike Arnold, third time clearances at 5:55 and 5:65. Just a reminder, this is only 2 centimeters lower than his lifetime indoor best. So this has been a good competition for the American. Not as experienced as the likes of Barber and Lavillenie. Crowd are urging him on here with the slow hand clap. Arnold, no, running through.
Well, you said the crowd urging him on. In fact, the interesting thing was Sam Kendricks came out onto the track to lead the crowd into the clapping down. So nice to see, you know, one of the teammates helping the other one. There's Kendricks, in fact, just going across to shake Mike Arnold's hand.
So one by one, they are falling by the wayside. Not a bad competition at all there from Mike Arnold. And hopefully he'll have taken some confidence from this competition. Still a fair number of spectators are waiting around to see what magic there may be left in this competition.
So Arnold finishing in 8th place with his 5:65.
Kudlichka, last chance to stay in the competition, aiming to become the 3rd man over 5:75. He got the bronze 2 years ago. It's wobbling, but it stayed there. That's why he finished on the podium 2 years ago. Valner, his compatriot, who's been knocked out, produces a smile for his compatriot and his teammates. Well, Kudlichka has joined Lisek and Lavillenie, clearing 5:75. He's moved into 3rd place. That was class. So Kudlichka from the Czech Republic needed 3 at 5:65 and 5:75. He's still in it now. Sabera has been knocked out of the medals as a result of that 5:75 clearance from Kudlichka. A good card with clearances at 40 and 65, but this is it. No. A decent competition from Robert Sabera. 6th 2 years ago.
Yeah, 4th at the moment, though, of course, may well move down. We've still got Barber, of course, to come, and Kendricks, who could well go higher.
Wow. Barber is pacing and waiting for his 3rd attempt. We've got Philippidis to go before that, the defending world indoor champion. Kendricks, just a reminder, has still yet to register a failure, and he has passed at 5:75. Barber is definitely looking pensive. He's under pressure here in a major championship for the first time. A total contrast in body language to Renaud Lavillenie.
Well, Sean Barber, let's not forget, he's still only 21 years old. He was 16th at the World Champs in 2013. 2 years later, he goes and wins it. So he's still kind of finding his feet, if that's fair to say, as a world champion.
And he showed great character to get over 5:65 at the 3rd time of asking. Right, Philippidis, the defending champion, needs this if he is to have any chance of hanging on to the gold. And it's not to be tonight. A great evening for him in Sopot 2 years ago. He is a fine, fine, world-class vaulter, but he will not be returning to Greece with the gold medal this time. 6th place at the moment for Philippidis. So, we have Kudlichka of the Czech Republic clear at 5:75. We have Piotr Lisek in 2nd place with a first-time clearance at 5:75. Philippidis' competition has come to an end. We have Kendricks, who has passed 575. And of course we have Lavillenie, who storms to his opening successful vault. Now Barber, he needed 3 at 565, but that was before he had seen Renaud Lavillenie enter the competition. Now the pressure is even higher, and this hugely talented Canadian is going to have to dig deep once again here.
Became the 19th man in history to go over 6 meters when he did that height on the 15th of January. How much would he love to bring that spring back into his feet here tonight? Former springboard diver in high school, but he needs to put it out the bag now. And he's done it before, Rob, hasn't he? Winning that world title in Beijing.
Brilliant performance in China. And just a reminder, it isn't just that 6 meters at altitude. He's had a 588, 589, 591. He'll be bitterly disappointed if he goes out here at 575. Must deliver again here, Sean Barber. The world champion's really being tested. Oh, yes! Come on! Now we have a competition. 3rd time clearance at 565. 3rd time clearance at 575. Nerves of steel just when he needed it.
Well, he's put himself into the bronze medal position with that vault. There's a reason why people win world championships, and 90% of the time it's what you got between your ears when it matters. You may not have that major championship experience in depth like Renaud Lavillenie, but last year in Beijing, he proved when it matters he can perform. And talk about pulling it out the bag. A 3rd time clearance at 565, now at 575.
He ties Kudlichka at the moment behind Lisek, the men who have cleared 575. Both Barber and Kudlichka having 4 failures in this competition. 3rd time clearances at this height and the previous height. So we move on.
And I can tell you, not that you two will be overly surprised. Wow, hang on a minute. Right, this is, I'm just watching the digits flash up as we watch Barber, who's delighted to still be in the competition. You get a little dash when a vaulter is passing at the next height. Lavillenie has passed at 580 and 585. Sam Kendricks has passed the last height at 575, but we are not yet seeing that he has passed at 580. It's possible, but he would surely come back in here, get a clearance, he hopes, at 580 and get himself back into the medals. So exactly Lavillenie, just to confirm once again, has passed at 80 and 85.
So there's a pair of world champions, both indoors, of course, Mura outdoors. And Lavillenie, we've said, hasn't won a world outdoor title, but what a record he's got. Olympic title, former world indoors, 4 European titles, 4 European indoors, 3 European titles. I mean, it's a fantastic record. And, you know, he is undoubtedly one of the all-time greats. We would still say Sergei Bubka's the greatest ever, but Lavillenie is right up there.
He just needs that world outdoor title, you know, which for some bizarre reason just continues to elude him. Right, 580. There's the man of the moment, looking incredibly relaxed. Right, he's not the only man left in this competition. Jan Kudlichka, bronze 2 years ago, and that's the position he currently occupies. Here he goes. No. Remember, he needed 3 attempts at 565 and 575. But there's a first failure for Kudlichka at 580. We have Piotr Lisek. He's in 2nd place at the moment. The man from Poland has only got 1 failure so far. That was his first attempt at 565. He was a first-time clearance at 575. Kudlichka, 2 more attempts to him, but he's still in the mix for a medal. But of course, it depends what happens with Sam Kendricks. But here goes Piotr Lisek. So, he's a European indoor medalist. He's a World Championship outdoor medalist. A big roar of intent. Really aggressive on the runway. He's having a great competition here. Can he keep it going? Ooh. He knows there's more in the tank there. He's gone 590 in the past. But this is getting towards a really, really high standard here. He occupies the silver medal position, but he has now a second failure in the competition. His first attempt at 580. 2 more for this very talented young Polish athlete. So just a reminder, Lavillenie is in first place. He's passed at 580 and 585. We now have potentially the last vault for Tiago Braz de Silva. 2 failures at 575. Passed on his third attempt, of course, because he's lying in 12th place already, because the only vault he's cleared is 555. So de Silva is playing with fire a little bit here. He needs to go over this with his first and only attempt at 580, or he finishes the competition in 12th place. Remember, he beat Renaud Lavillenie in Berlin. He's vaulted 593. If he gets this right and the timing's there and the technique is there, he is more than capable of getting over here, but he must deliver right now, the Brazilian. No, a little bit of a ragged night for the South American record holder, and his competition ends with just the 1 clearance at 555. He's down in 12th. His night is finished. So, as de Silva trudges away, turn his thoughts and his attentions to a summer season, Lavillenie has had a very short evening's work so far. It's been quite a long one, mainly because he's been watching and waiting as everyone else struggles to get up to his huge heights. Barber?
Yes, this competition started 2.5 hours ago. That's not unusual, of course, for the vaulters. They're quite accustomed to it, but it's quite a big field, of course. 14 men.
Sam Kendricks. Great competition so far. Yet to register a failure, and the only other man in that position is the Frenchman, Renaud Lavillenie. Now, having passed at 575, he finds himself at this moment out of the medals and needs this to get right back towards the top and to put the Frenchman under some kind of pressure. Great reception from the crowd. Oh, yes! Oh. Well, he's got the confidence and he's got the belief, and maybe, just maybe, this isn't a one-horse race.
Wow. The clapping was enthusiastic from the crowd here in the convention centre. Look at that. You've got a battle on your hands, Mr. Lavillenie, because Sam Kendricks, I love him. He's rough, he's ragged, he carries the pole, it swings from side to side, but he's technically superb once he takes off. Compact and tidy, and look at that. Wraps himself round the bar, giving the Americans something to cheer about following their 2 medals in the women's pole vault.
And he's in the lead.
I love this.
Well, Lavillenie isn't the only man who can walk around with chest held high. 4 vaults, 4 first-time clearances. That is a truly world-class card from the American. So Barber cleared 575 at the 3rd attempt, but he is now in 4th place and needs to produce something close to his best here to get himself back in a podium position. No, he's having to do it the hard way tonight, isn't he?
He is. He's had to do it the hard way in a few competitions this winter. Beaten by Lavillenie already in this 2016 season. But you're right, Rob, if he's going to get a medal out of this, and a gold one in particular, He's going to have to work hard, the world outdoor champion. No Canadians ever finished in the top 8 in the World Indoor Championships.
I mean, you mentioned Catherine before, that he's still young, of course, and inexperienced. This is his first year out of college, and he's now a full-time professional athlete. He's been competing quite a lot, but it's a very different sort of scene, isn't it? I mean, he competed a lot when he was in college and then went on to, of course, become world champion. But now he's got a new environment. He's doing a lot of traveling, and well, that takes a little bit of getting used to, doesn't it?
It does. It's a completely different kettle of fish, as we say in England. When you decide that your hobby becomes your job, he needs to vault to get paid, and it puts a different pressure on an athlete. He will adapt. He's shown his strength, hasn't he, with that super clearance that he went over at 5 meters and 75.
So, Kudlička now finds himself out of the medals. He was in the bronze medal position just as he finished 2 years ago. Second attempt, 580.
We're seeing him because Lisek passed his second attempt. Or I think he's saying he's going to.
So, 2 failures at 580 for the bronze medalist from Sopot. Now, Lisek...
No, he is coming out, in fact.
...is in 3rd place. He's had 1 failure at 580. Occupies 3rd spot because he cleared 575 at the first time of asking. An excellent competition for the bronze medalist from the World Outdoor Championships last year. Kudlička has 1 more attempt. See there that he's displayed some grit and character at the earlier heights, but it's now getting even more difficult here. The pressure's on. And here comes the 23-year-old European indoor bronze medalist, the World Championship bronze medalist last year. He shared that with Renaud Lavillenie. The Lavillinie's got no intention of going home with any colour other than gold this evening, although Sam Kendricks has certainly given him a little bit of food for thought. So, Piotr Lisek aiming to join Sam Kendricks over 580. Second attempt here. A really aggressive vaulter, lets out a big roar. One more attempt for him. So, he's in the bronze medal position at the moment. De Silva has been knocked out. He only had 1 attempt at 580. Philippidis has gone. Kendricks is already over. So, with Lavillenie passing at 580, we turn our attention in a moment to Sean Barber.
So they're tying in terms of gold medal statistics. And on the vaulting so far, Rob, they're the 2 boys potentially that could win another gold for France or the USA. But we don't count this man out when he needs to deliver.
Well, it's not coming easily tonight for Sean Barber, but these are the moments where great champions show their mettle, and he needs to do it again here now. No, it's going to come down once again, as it did at 565 and 575. It's going to come down to a 3rd and final attempt for Sean Barber, who's lying in 4th place at the moment. So, Kudlička of the Czech Republic has 1 final attempt to get himself over 580 and once again back up into the medals. Piotr Lisek has 1 final attempt at 580. He's lying in 3rd place. Kendricks is leading with that clearance at 580. Lavillenie has passed. So we are getting down to the last few contenders, and Barber is just trudging away there in the middle of your shot. The bar will be returned to its height of 580. And he still looks pretty relaxed. Yes, Kendricks has once again, you know, reminded Lavillenie that this is a contest, but he seems totally at ease, and that doesn't appear to be an act.
He's always like it, isn't he? And as I mentioned before, when you wait a long time and delay your opening height and then nail it with the magnitude that he did, the confidence with even all the experience that the Olympic champion has, that he would have got Renaud Lavillenie walking away from that clearance when he went over at 5 meters and 75 is absolutely huge.
Getting tips from Fabiano Moura maybe, if he needed them.
Probably asking what the weather's like in Rio in August.
Yes, yes.
Do I need my sun cream? Shall I bring my hat?
Piotr Lisek, he's got his tracksuit on because he's watching and waiting. His third attempt at 580 will come after that of Jan Kudlička, who is about to compose himself and try and give himself one last chance to replicate his bronze medal from 2 years ago.
Down at the pit, they were just rechecking the height of the bar there after have to replace it, of course, so Kudlička just having to wait a little bit. Third attempts there, Rob, at 65 and 75. Can he do it again at 80?
Well, he's classy enough to pull this out the bag. This is it. Any chance of a medal rests on this moment. Oh, it was close. It's been a good competition for Jan Kudlička, but this time he will not be leaving with another bronze medal. A really great effort and two gutsy clearances at 65 and 75 when the pressure was on, but he couldn't do that for a third time in succession. So Lisek remains. Olishman has one last chance to get over 580. He's in third. Kendricks is leading with a first-time clearance at 580. Shaughnessy Barber has one last chance at 580.
He's going to pass at this last chance at 580, so he's going to risk it all at 585.
Wow.
For Barber.
Wow, Shaughnessy Barber deciding it's all or nothing. So just to clarify, Lavillenie has passed at 585 as well. Kendricks has cleared 580, whereas Lavillenie's solo clearance, and very impressive one it was too, was 575. That's why Kendricks, the American, is in the lead at the moment, and Lavillenie is in second place. Lisek, who we will see shortly, has one final attempt to try and get himself over 580, and Barber has gone Monte Carlo or bust because he was in fourth place and he's elected to pass on his third and final attempt at 580 and come back in at 85 or maybe even 90.
Yeah, the usual tactical essays by the vaulters, which we so often see. Meanwhile, we just got one attempt then to go at this current height.
Well, actually, as Barber looks on, Lisek, who's in the bronze medal position, has passed at 580, so the bar now has raised to 585.
And he will be the first to go at it, yeah.
One last chance. So now, at last, probably for the first time in around about half an hour, there's a little bit of a game face and a bit of concentration across the brow of Renaud Lavillenie. He's had enough of all the chats with Kendricks and Fabiano Moura, and he'll begin to think about a vault. Although, as I said, he's not coming in at 585. So, Lisek, this is it. Must clear this if he's staying in the competition. He's in with a shout of the bronze here. Not to be. So
still in third place though, of course.
Yes, it depends on what Barber does on his, what will be his only attempt at 585, because of course he passed the Canadian reigning world champion on his third and final attempt at 580. So Lisek has a very, very good chance of replicating his bronze in the outdoor world championships with a bronze here in Portland, but it does depend on what Shaughnessy Barber manages to do when he has his attempt at 585. Now, Sam Kendricks. 4 vaults, 4 first-time clearances. He is in the lead. This, once again, would underline his credentials. Brad Walker The gold in 2006, the silver in 08, the bronze in 2012. And how Kendricks would absolutely love to replicate the great performances of his countrymen. Here he goes. It's been a flawless card and a perfect evening for the Americans so far. Kendricks, every right to feel confident. Remember, 590 in this stadium 1 week ago. He knows he's got this if he's concentrating and if he gets the technique right. Oh, it was close, but that is his first failure of the evening. So, still in the lead, remember, of course, because Lavillenie, who has passed at this height, has only registered 575.
Only, yes. And
I did say that with my tongue in my cheek.
I heard it. I heard the course. 19 foot 2 1/4 this height is. The old money. Edges.
But what I think is brave and has took many of our athletic fans by surprise is Renaud Lavillenie passing at 580 expected. 585 and passing is a big, bold move. That is a big statement of intent, and one that's either going to come back and haunt him when he flies home to Paris, or he's going to go home with a gold medal in his pocket. That's a brave move to pass the following 2 heights.
Well, I mean, at what point does confidence become arrogance, or does it depend entirely on the outcome?
But what is good is that he had the big clearance, he's got a feel for the runway, his run-up's in a good position, his body's in a good position in terms of clearance. It's understandable, but let's not forget that's a big move by the Olympic champion.
Sean Barber has already displayed great character and great courage this evening. He will not finish on the podium if he does not clear 585. He's only got one chance at this. This is the reigning world outdoor champion. No, it just wasn't to be this evening for the Canadian. He is a great, great competitor. He's had amazing success indoors already this season, and the congratulations and the celebrations there belong to Piotr Lisek, because although he's already been knocked out, Barber's failure there at 585 means that Lisek gets the bronze medal, just as he did outdoors in Beijing. So the first tiny little blip on an otherwise first-class CV of Sean Barber, that's to be expected. It hasn't been a completely disastrous performance, but this is the first time. Pan American gold last year, World Outdoor gold. There's something to work on here, and there's motivation for him going to the future. He's finished just out of the medals in 4th place. Piotr Lisek picks up the bronze medal. There he is. His competition's over, but once again, proving himself to be a great campaigner. And Lavillenie has been doing a couple of drills, just getting himself moving. It's Lavillenie or Sam Kendricks for the world indoor title. Kendricks is leading the competition. A first-time clearance at 580. It has just come up on the board. Kendricks is passing at 585. He's had one failure, so the bar will presumably move up to 590.
Yes.
And presumably Lavillenie will come back in. So Kendricks is in the gold medal position at the moment, and well, it may not be acting as if the pressure's back on Lavillenie, but it is in terms of the facts, because Lavillenie has that one clearance at 575, so he must go higher in order to deny Sam Kendricks the gold medal. So at worst, it's a silver medal for Kendricks, which means it's been a fabulous evening for the Americans across their female and male vaulters. But of course, he doesn't want to finish with the silver. He wants to make it a double gold. And the bar is indeed going up to 590. So Kendricks will have 2 attempts if he needs them at 590. After that one failure at 585. Lavillenie will have 3 chances to go over 590. And certainly his fans and his countrymen and he himself will be hoping and expecting that he soars over 590 at the first time of asking, just as he did at 575. But 590 is bold, passing at 80 and 85.
It's a big move. And it's an obvious statement, but of course this next height of 5 meters and 90 is going to be gold or silver, Rob. You've mentioned it. I just hope that passing at that second height of 585 potentially won't come back to haunt the popular Frenchman. But talk about Kendricks and the home support. He did 590 last week, didn't he, here? So
That's
this is
PB.
territory
Trying to equal it.
that he knows about.
2 attempts for Kendricks. And Lavillenie, well, he's looking focused and a tiny bit pensive perhaps, deep in concentration, but he's put himself in this position by being as bold as he has been to pass at 80 and 85.
So they're ready down in the pit. The clock has started. They've got 2 minutes. This is Kendricks with that length of time that he can get ready for this to equal the personal best he set last week.
Sam Kendricks is in the gold medal position at the moment. If he equals his lifetime best from this stadium in the US trials a week ago, it would put Renaud Lavillenie under absolutely enormous pressure. Sam Kendricks being roared on by his home crowd. No, a little bit ragged on the come down there. Just stretches that neck out. He will only have 1 further attempt, of course, because he had 1 failure at 585 and then passed as the bar was raised. So now, for the second time in almost 3 hours, Lavillenie steps onto the pole vault runway once again. We started this competition. We're now coming up to 5 to 10. This competition began at 7:05. Lavillenie has had 1 vault.
Well, he's going to be fresh. And we saw from that clearance at 5 meters and 75 what shape he's in. And as Kendricks failed and the bar went down, Renaud Lavillenie gave himself a clap of his hands. And he's going to zip up his lycra. And very shortly, the 29-year-old, there we go. Routines that athletes do. The 29-year-old Frenchman then, 2 vaults in nearly 3 hours. Good work if you can get it.
But we do need to remind ourselves, he must clear this if he is once again to become the world indoor champion. 3 attempts if he needs them, but Lavillenie wants to underline his status as the world's #1 vaulter. Will he do so now? Huge sense of expectation. The world record holder. Oh, yes! Oh, my goodness me. 2 moments of magic in nearly 3 hours, and now Kendricks is under massive, massive, massive pressure. Cometh the hour, cometh the world record holder. That was class.
Well, he is one of the greatest athletes in track and field, has proved it. He's been the world #1 vaulter for the last 5-6 years, and this is why. And we're going to see him trying later, perhaps not too much later, 6 meters plus. Interesting to see what he goes for. The championship record is 6:01 from Steve Hooker back in 2010. I should think he'll probably try and get that. Or would he even go for a world record? But it's such a long way up further. I would have thought he'd try the championship record. But first of all, it's now. The focus is on Kendricks. How would he play this?
That was so impressive, Catherine. My gosh.
Goosebumps came on my little arms. It was absolutely outstanding. I make no shame of saying Renaud Lavillenie is my favourite athlete in track and field. And there's many reasons for that, because he's a nice guy and he's also a wonderful competitor. That was absolutely, you saw Sam Kendricks' face when he went over. It was a mixture of, oh gosh, but he suddenly turned it round and was driven and focused on what he's got to do now.
But he probably expected it too. And now he's got to keep going. And let's remember, this is his personal best. He's excelled today. He's sure of the silver medal. And it'd be lovely to get that 590.
Well,
last chance.
He's attempting the same height that took him to the US indoor title in this very arena a week ago. This would be a magnificent vault. He's got to do it. This is his last chance. He's guaranteed the silver. Can he equal his lifetime best? Not to be, but Sam Kendricks gets a warm round of applause from the crowd. He is the World Indoor Championship silver medalist, and Lavillenie is once again the World Indoor Champion. And now it just remains to see what requests he puts into the officials. I agree with you, Peter. I think he'll go for the championship record, especially as he's already gone 6:03 and 6:02 this season. But all credit to Kendricks. He's an indoor World Championship silver medalist, very close to his lifetime best. Great competition.
Yeah, very good to see. And he's really improved the last couple of years. He's right up there now. For years, the American standard was just a little bit below because they've dominated the world of pole vaulting for so long. But he is a super champion and is following in the footsteps of some great vaulters over the years. And he is a very worthy. And it's lovely to see on home ground here that he got the silver medal. But here we have one of the supreme champions. He now has 10 gold medals from global or continental championships. That singles him out as someone very, very special. Yes, he hasn't yet won the world title outdoors, but he's got everything else. But yet he still obviously has other targets in mind.
6:02. He has requested the bar be raised to 6 meters and 2 centimeters. That would establish a new championship record. He vaulted 595 when he became the world indoor champion 4 years ago in 2012. And just a reminder, 6:03 earlier this month, 6:02 in February. So he has vaulted this high this season and within the last month. Lavillenie aiming for another slice of history. Okay, Peter, you're the ultimate statistician. It's still a little way off because he is only 29 years of age. But at what stage do we start drawing level comparisons with Bubka? Is that an impossible mountain?
Pretty much.
Or does he get into that realm as soon as he wins the world outdoor title, which is the one global crown he hasn't got?
No, he's got to do more than that. I mean, Lavillenie has now jumped over 6 meters, and only Bubka, and he's doing it regularly. Only Bubka has done it more often, but a lot more often.
Well, we can say unequivocally he's the greatest of his generation. So, Renaud Lavillenie is once again the global champion. Does he finish his competition with a championship record? A master at work here. This, remember, is only his 3rd vault of the night. Oh, yes! Renaud Lavillenie has set this stadium alight. 3 vaults, 3 clearances. Not only does he retain his world indoor title, it's a championship record, and this mercurial Frenchman has once again delivered in style. He is in a class all of his own.
And what a super start to the championships. They've got this new format, having the pole vaults on their own, and the organisers have been rewarded for this by having championship records in both the women's and the men's pole vault, and we've seen competition at the very highest standard. It really has set the championships up well.
And look what it means to Renaud Lavillenie. Look what it means to the French team. They only have 9 athletes here at these World Indoor Championships, and the biggest gold medal hope was Renaud Lavillenie. Of all he's won, of the heights he's vaulted, look at the reaction. Goes onto the infield, he's punching the air. That was absolutely outstanding by Renaud Lavillenie. What next?
Well, has he finished his night's work, or does he fancy a little bit more?
Keep an eye. Normally, as we know, if he shakes the hands, he's thanking the officials for their night's work. He hasn't shook the hand. What do you reckon? Look at the crowd. The crowd have started chanting in French.
Well, he still hasn't set a season's best.
There you go.
Season's best is 6:03. Are we being greedy in expecting a bit more?
Oh, the French flags are flying. Renault puts, I'm saying he's going for a world record. You know why? He's put one pole back and brought another one out.
6:17.
He's changed his pole.
6:17.
He's changed his pole. He's going big time.
Oh my gosh, what a treat to even see someone attempt 6:17. Wow.
And why not? Fair play to him. He's such a showman. He loves it. He has the stadium to himself. That's when Renault Lavillenie performs at his best.
Renault Lavillenie is the class act of his generation. He does up that famous lycra vest. He's already recaptured the world indoor title. He has already established a new championship record. And the crowd are responding to a magnificent gold medalist. Is there one more magic flick of the wrist from this fabulous Frenchman? Not this time. A little bit of acrobatics. You've got to be ready. It's all got to be absolutely perfect. Are we being greedy, hoping for a world record?
Of course we are, and why not?
This is what we live for in track and field, the special moment.
And of course he's changed his pole because he's gone for the one that's, you know,
6:17 one.
That he thinks might be the one for 6:17. But of course he's been using a different one, so he's got to get used to this a little bit. So, you know, maybe he'd need a couple of goes to get it right.
An aborted attempt at the first time of asking. The zip has gone up. The focus is on the face. He's asking for the crowd's involvement, and they are willingly responding. World record attempt number 2 for the man who has lit up this stadium tonight. Surely he can't do it again. Can he? No. Has he hurt himself? No. Oof. He's okay. He's okay. I'm all right.
C'est bon, c'est bon.
Well, that's how difficult it is to vault 6:17.
And he's falling from a height. Let me say.
What is that in feet and inches, Peter? Do you know?
Well, it's beyond my ken.
It's huge. It's huge.
It is very high.
It's over 20 feet.
There was a little moment there where we were just hoping he was okay, and there, yeah.
Well, this vaulting runway is getting used to a few little accidents, of course. Ashton Eaton last weekend getting a cut on his head from a falling bar here at the US trials, but he's okay. He'll compete this weekend.
I've just had an expert telling me that I said it was over 20 feet. It's 2 3/4 inches over 20 feet.
And here he is, a third and final attempt at 6:17 meters. Can he improve his own world record from 2 years ago? He is one of the sport's all-time greats. Is this another divine moment from the Frenchman? No. Not even close. Well, maybe we were being a little bit greedy. Everybody is applauding Renault Lavillenie, including the men who finished second and third behind him. The Frenchman has regained his world indoor title in style, and any disappointment he felt in finishing third in Beijing has been well and truly banished. He's now on the road to Rio, and he wants to regain the Olympic title as well. But that's a battle for another day. Tonight was a night to celebrate. That was amazing.
superb performance by one of the all-time greats of athletics. Here's a little celebration. Yep, new championship record today, 6 meters 02, and he won by huge margin, 22 centimeters ahead of Sam Kendricks, with Piotr Licek taking the bronze medal. That's the card for Renaud Lavillenie. It ends in anticlimax, so often does in the vertical heights, the pole vault and the high jump, but that takes nothing whatsoever away from a superb demonstration. A man who had to wait 2 hours before he actually came into the competition. He stayed relaxed, he stayed calm, and lovely camaraderie there between Sam Kendricks, the silver medalist, and Renaud Lavillenie, a super champion. And what a start we've had for the 16th IAF World Indoor Championships. Renaud Lavillenie, the gold medalist in the men's pole vault at 6 meters 02.
And a great night for Sam Kendricks as well. 490 a week ago, within a whisker of doing it again, and he's got a global indoor medal. A great platform for him for the rest of what could be a massive season for the American.
Oh, indeed, Renaud Lavillenie, there we go, the pictures will be taken. There were 6 medals on offer tonight, and the US of A, with their stars and stripes, have taken half of them. A great start for the USA team, a wonderful start for the French team, and as you mentioned, Rob, it couldn't have been scripted any better. From when the organisers would have got the nod that Renaud Lavillenie was interested in coming to Portland in this Olympic year for the World Indoor Championships, it was a super start in both competitions.
Renaud Lavillenie regains his global indoor title in fine style, a championship record as well. All credit to Sam Kendricks with the silver, and Piotr Licek replicates his bronze from the Outdoor World Championships in Beijing with a fabulous third place finish here in Portland.